So I find myself underneath a 4Runner. I believe it's 04 4Runner. And doing some pretty comprehensive rust repair on the frame rails. Now, I believe this is the era Toyota that they had really bad frame recalls. My buddy Jimmy worked at a Toyota dealership for a while, and all he did seemingly for like a year or two was frame replacements on like 04 to 07 Tacomas. I believe they did the same frame for the 4Runners. However, these did not get a recall. So let me show you what I'm dealing with. This is sort of what the frame looked like before. It's a little better than what the other side looked like, but you can see swelling. You can see how the layers of steel have separated. I think it's a multi-layer steel. You know, there's how close they're supposed to be. There's some swelling and separation. And then here's some swelling and separation, and that's how they're supposed to be back here. Now, I started cutting on this side, and it just got worse and worse and worse. So here's where we're at. This is how much we've cut out, and this is what came out of it. I mean, just gobs and gobs of rust. So, you know, the story doesn't get any better when you look in here. You've got the floor, the bottom section of frame rail. It's pretty nuts. It's worse over here. Sorry, I'm gonna have to turn the camera. But you can kind of see in there, and of course on the bottom here. I'm trying to get the light to where you can see everything. So there's a good enough way to do this, and then there's the ideal way to do this. I'm gonna try to find somewhere in the middle to where I'm pleased with the fact that it's structurally sound again, but I don't end up having to spend 3 days on this and charge the customer, you know, $3,000 or $4,000 just to pass inspection. However, he has expressed to me that he intends to drive the wheels off this car. He wants to keep it for a long, long time. So this isn't just a fix it good enough to sell it. This is a car he really likes and wants to keep. So he's willing to do what's necessary within reason to fix it for a reasonably long time. So basically, yeah, I'm coming to you live now in the middle of this project. I've time-lapsed, I time-lapsed everything I've done so far, but I haven't really talked about it. So that is where we're at. I'm gonna do the same thing here to the other side. Cut out the cancer. I usually start with a small square around the affected area, just a small square, and then I see how bad it is, and then keep cutting if I need to, trying to make my cuts reasonably, uniform shapes, so that patching it with new steel is easier than if I were to just make a bunch of random cuts and then have this really strange shape that I gotta fill next. Over here's, I didn't measure it, but I intend to have this cool trick with masking tape that I use to make templates. So filling gaps like this is not that hard, and I'll show you how to do it when we get there. But yeah, up here I got fuel lines, so I'm gonna soak those in heat absorption gel, maybe some aluminum foil as well, and then get to cutting on this side. So here we go. Make that work. Fits pretty good for 3/16 plate. Pull the tape off and weld her in. So you saw with the tape, that is my favorite way to make templates, is just, especially of abstract shapes, is just cover it with tape, use a razor blade to cut out around the opening, and then transfer that piece you cut out onto a sheet of steel and just plasma cut it, smooth the edges out, and you're good. See, it works pretty dang good. I've done that trick a lot, and it saved a lot of time, a lot of back and forth, grinding and fitting and shaping and trimming. This isn't a perfect fit, but it's gonna work just fine. You need to like flatten it out, unbend it right there. Might not unbent it too much. It's such a good fit that I can't get it out. Bent it a little more. I think that's it right there. I'm not gonna get it perfect. And fits good. If I unbend this any, I need to take some off the end. I think that's good. I'm gonna weld that in. Here at Lift Arc, we are proudly supported by Arc3 Gases. Arc3 Gases has supported me for my entire fabrication career, even back when we were at Black Dog. All of our welders, all of our welding gas, everything came from them. And when I started my new shop, I knew who to go to. If you're anywhere near the East Coast or even the whole right half of this country or the entire country, because they ship, you should consider Arc3 Gases for all your welding supply, metalworking tools, and gas and consumable needs. Back to the video. If you guys could only see how damaged the lens protector is on this camera after filming welding from 6 inches away, you would get a kick out of it. But let's see, I haven't done a check-in in a minute, so let me update you guys. We got her all patched up, ground smooth a little bit. I'm feeling happy with that. Got our stabilizer bar back on, tapped. Ran a tap through these holes, grabbed a few replacement nuts and bolts, ran a die down the bolts, and yeah, this side is all fixed up. But this was not the terrible side. This is the bad side. Went ahead and coated the inside of the frame with some rust reformer, kind of neutralized some stuff. What I'm learning is that these Toyotas had a 2-layer frame rail, and that's where you can see the water gets in between and swells everything, which means the inside layer might be gone, but there's still the outside layer, and the outside of the frame is good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and patch another 3/16 plate right in here, weld the bejesus out of it, and I think it ought to last them quite a while. At least we've neutralized some rust on the inside. Rust is always gonna find a way to come back, but you do what you can do. And this is also the last day I have to work on this thing, because I don't want to charge them $1 million, and I've got other things to do. So I think we'll find a happy medium here. But yeah, Forerunner stuff. Go ahead and do my tape thing, make another template, cut a piece, grind, tack, weld, grind, paint, high five, go home. Oh, I do need to replace 2 broken bolts. I snapped 2 bolts off right here, pulling that stabilizer bar out. So these holes here I can just run a tap through. These holes here I'm gonna have to do some bolt extraction, and either I'll get them out and retap the same size, or I'll have to through bolt or tap the next size up or something. So, but luckily, because I'm a Japanese car guy, I have a literal bucket of metric fasteners that I can pull from. So got a replacement hardware store right here in the automotive section of Lift Arc. Whew, I almost destroyed that screen. DJI, sponsor us. Your Action 4s are getting some rough treatment. Anyway, here we go. Well, there it is. Job done. What a messy, strange job. This frame has seen better days, but those parts where I cut it out is way stronger than it was. It's way stronger than it was from the factory, because it's 3/16 plate in there now instead of 2 layers of rusty 1/8 inch or less. So yeah, that is the super non-glamorous side of being a welder. Rust repair. Done a lot of these jobs. I'm sure I'll do a lot more. process gets better with each one, but this one was tough, you know, because the front part of this frame isn't very accessible. You got the exhaust in the way on both sides. I had to take the O2 sensor out over here. Somebody's clearly cut this part of the exhaust out and poorly welded it back together. I would guess when they did a transmission replacement. I've seen that before. People come up across these super rusty bolts and they can't get them out. They don't want to try to get them out, so they just cut this pipe and welded it back together with toothpaste. But there you go. On to live another day. Customer will be here soon and we'll show them everything we did. Love having a lift here at the shop too.